Hey guys, this is me, it's Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another exciting edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. So, I got a message, a very interesting message from a gentleman, and one of our regulars, and he asked me, do I think that an Aquarius male can be happy in a polygamous relationship? Now, for those of you who don't know, polygamy is when a man has more than one wife. It's illegal in the United States, but it is legal in some other places. It's a common practice in Islam, and I've seen it in other Afrocentric groups as well. And I've known personally about 5 or 6 polygamous families. One family in particular, I worked with one of the wives. And basically, an Aquarius man, just like any Aquarius man or woman, do very well in what they call alternative relationships. These are basically non-traditional relationships that aren't the, traditional heterosexual monogamous relationship. So Aquarius men do very well in open relationships, polygamous relationships, any of those kind of polyamorous relationships, S&M relationships, whatever kind of relationship you want to think of, an Aquarius would be good at, because we're really good at alternative relationships. So this stands to reason that a Aquarius man would be able to be happy in such a situation, very much so. But see, this is the thing you have to understand. Like I said, from being around these types of families, a lot of times the man is happy. I mean, like, seriously, why would you not be? I mean, you have, several different wives. You have these beautiful children. They're constantly catered to like a king, They're supposed to be able to financially support their wives, and that sometimes does not happen. So many of them actually enjoy the economic stability of having more than one wife that actually works. They're supposed to live in different houses. In many cases, they don't. So they pool all the resources into one home. And you can imagine, as a man, you have 3 wives that work. Ends is meeting quite well, So economically speaking, it would be great. Sexually speaking, it would be great. Aquarius loves sex. So you have 3, 4, 5 different women you can have sex with every day. That's fun. Beautiful kids, a lot of men like having children, So those kind of things would be kind of cool. And you'd have a lot of people in the house to help with everything, day-to-day stuff, chores, everything, So that is really cool as far as an Aquarius man is concerned. But I'm going to tell you where the problem comes in. And this is what comes in for most people, Aquarius or not. It's not easy to have harmony amongst the wives, because remember, you're still dealing with jealousies. You're still dealing with respect issues. You're still dealing with 3 women sharing a man. All the issues that you think might go on will go on in some families. Now, mind you, some of the polygamous families I know did not have, or they did not express an issue like that. So I can't say that they all had one. But the one family that I was close to, the wife constantly told me how unhappy she was, how neglected she felt, how much noise there was in the house, how many kids are constantly around. And I remember on several different occasions, her son, who was, both her kids were by this gentleman. And one time her son was telling her, this is bogus, we need to leave. Her son, who was like 13, So she found herself very unhappy in the situation. However, I don't know about the other 2 wives, if they were happy or not. So there are times when women find this situation to be unhappy. I think it really depends on the women that you find. You have to find women that are going to be happy in this kind of situation. And oddly enough, there are women, there are many, 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 many women who will be happy in that situation. So the question is finding women who would be good with that situation, happy with that situation, and okay to go through the ups and downs that are inevitably going to come with that situation. That's really going to be your struggle. I know a lot of, I've had this conversation with people who are polyamorous, people who are polygamists. I've had this conversation many, many times, people in open relationships. And the one thing that happens oftentimes is that type of unhappiness. Now, once one of the wives is unhappy, the whole household is unhappy. You know, the whole thing is off kilter at that point, and she may leave or she's going to come back into the fold. So, and that could be any one of them at any given time, you know. Sometimes the first wife gets jealous of the new wives. Sometimes the newer wives feel neglected. Some of the times the newer wives are younger, so they want more sex, you know. And some of the times that becomes a problem for wife number 2 or number 3 or number 4, you know. So these things can really become a problem. So as long as you have other people who see your vision and are okay with this and are happy with this kind of a relationship, then an Aquarius man will be able to enjoy it. But I tell you one thing, if things go wrong, the Aquarius man is going to have a very difficult time with 3 women coming at his neck. Or 1 woman out of the 3 or 2 out of 3 coming at his neck because she's not happy. The one thing you better really consider as an Aquarius man is all those emotions. 9 times out of 10, women have very intense emotions. And I'm not saying that men don't. Men do have intense emotions, but we can all agree that they come out differently depending on the person. Some women are, like myself, a little bit more masculine, but still extremely sensitive. You know, it just depends on how sensitive the woman is. So can you imagine having 3 really sensitive women, and you are an Aquarius man who doesn't really like emotion that much? You have to deal with their emotional needs. You have to deal with any person's, male or female, emotional needs. But think about that as an Aquarius. That's not somewhere we really excel. So that's not that could be a very big problem. So that's something you really want to consider. Sometimes the people work that out in different kinds of ways. I heard a man once tell me, I'm not here for my woman's emotional support. I'm here for her financial and her security. Her girlfriends are for her emotional support. So if you have a man and a woman or women that believe that kind of a thing, you might be able to pull it off. But like I said before, as an Aquarius, if something goes wrong emotionally within this family, if there's a fight, if there's a blow up, if something happens, you're not going to be able to just shut down and not talk to nobody. You're going to have to talk your way through these issues. So if you're going to be in this type of situation as an Aquarius man, you better damn sure make sure that your communication skills are on point. You better make sure, because it's going to be a lot of communicating, a lot of talking, a lot of understanding. You would have to do a lot of things along those lines. You better be a relationship expert. You better be reading books and be up on how to finagle this kind of thing and how to be in this type of thing. You have to be open-minded. I've also watched TV shows. I watched this show called My 5 Wives. And the one thing I noticed about the show was that they had to do a lot of talking. It was a lot of talking. It was a lot of team building. It was a lot of that. A lot. They were like, you know, the wives would go to lunch together, you know, sometimes without the husband, and talk to each other. They supported each other. They talked about all kinds of stuff. You know, it was a lot, to be honest with you. It was a lot. I mean, he, of course, had some wonderful perks being married to these 5 beautiful women and having these beautiful children, but it's a lot. It was a lot. Like, think about, you know, Valentine's Day, he was going from house to house, giving roses and candy to each wife, you know. Each one they had to coordinate their birthdays, and one wife's birthday was on his birthday. So the other wives were jealous because she got to spend her birthday with him, but they couldn't spend his birthday with him. So it was like, you know, Every time you turned around, another one of them was pregnant. They had a lot of kids, and then dealing with the kids and helping the kids do, grow up and be productive members of society. It was a lot. It was a lot because people tend to believe when they think about polygamy, they tend to think of like the fun parts. That's how everybody thinks about that with a relationship. We all think about the fun parts, but you got to think about the obligation and the responsibility that comes along with any kind of relationship you're trying to have. And a polygamous relationship, a polygamous, marriage is no different. So I hope that helps. I really hope that helps you. So think about that before you go down that road. And if that's what you want to do, more power to you. Okay? All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So if you'd like to leave a love donation, I'll leave my PayPal. If you would like to sign up to get a tarot or oracle card reading, I'll leave my emails. You can email me. Likewise, if you would like to ask me a free question, you can email it to me or put it underneath here. And I'll leave my social media in case you would like to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. Okay? Take care, guys.